That little click your kettle makes is one of the most familiar sounds in a kitchen, but most people do not actually know what causes it. A lot of us assume the kettle is somehow reading the temperature of the water and deciding that it has reached exactly the right point. But in many ordinary electric kettles, that is not really what is happening. The real signal is steam. In other words, the kettle often does not say, "The water is now exactly this hot." It says, "I can see the water is truly boiling," because steam has arrived where the switch can feel it. That small difference is what makes the whole system surprisingly clever, and it is the reason the shut-off sound happens so quickly and so reliably. When you switch the kettle on, electricity runs through a heating element. That element resists the electrical flow, and that resistance turns electrical energy into heat. The heat moves into the water, the temperature rises, and before long the water starts to boil. So far, that part is simple. The interesting part is what happens next. As boiling starts, steam forms rapidly at the top of the kettle. In many common designs, that steam is not just allowed to float around randomly. It is guided through a small channel, often inside or near the handle, toward the control area where the shut-off mechanism sits. So the kettle is not just heating water. It is also sending a message. And that message is steam. That steam reaches a sensing part usually built around a bimetal piece. A bimetal part is made from two different metals joined together. The reason that matters is simple: different metals expand by different amounts when they get hot. So when steam suddenly heats that bonded piece, the two metals do not react in exactly the same way. That makes the part bend or snap. In kettle controls, the design is often made so the movement is quick and decisive instead of slow and soft. That sudden movement pushes the switch mechanism, opens the electrical circuit, and cuts power to the heating element. That is the click you hear. It is the sound of the circuit opening and the kettle switching itself off. The clever part is that this system is not mainly trying to detect one exact water temperature. That would sound logical at first, but it creates a problem. Water does not always boil at the same temperature everywhere. At higher altitudes, boiling happens at a lower temperature. Water conditions can also affect boiling behavior. If a kettle were set to shut off at one exact number, it could switch off too early in one place and too late in another. An engineering explainer from the Royal Academy of Engineering points out exactly this issue and explains why steam is the better signal. Once the kettle produces that strong rush of steam, the control knows real boiling has begun, even if the exact boiling temperature is a little different from one location to another. So the everyday myth is only partly right. People often say, the kettle senses the water directly. In many standard auto shut-off kettles, the more accurate explanation is that it senses the effect of boiling rather than measuring the water itself in a simple direct way. It is steam and heat reaching the control that matter most. That is why the better way to explain it is this: the kettle is waiting for proof that boiling has truly started. Steam is that proof. Once the steam hits the sensing element and the bimetal snaps, the switch opens, the circuit breaks, and the kettle shuts off. That is why the click usually happens right as the boiling becomes strong and obvious. There is also a second safety idea built into many kettles, and that matters just as much. Besides the normal boil shut-off, many kettles also have dry boil or overheat protection. That means if there is too little water inside, or no water at all, the kettle can still switch itself off before the heating system is badly damaged. A kettle patent describes a separate dry overload bimetal responding to overheating at the heater area, and modern consumer kettles are commonly sold with boil dry protection as a standard safety feature. So there are often two layers of protection: one that reacts when steam tells the kettle the water is boiling, and another that reacts if overheating happens because the kettle is running dry. That makes more sense when you look at kettle history. Long before electric kettles, people used stovetop kettles over open fires or on later cooktops. The basic shape is ancient, but for a very long time there was no automatic shut-off at all. The kettle would keep heating until a person noticed it. The whistling kettle improved that by turning steam into a warning sound. It did not switch itself off, but it did create a clear signal that the water had reached a boil. In a way, the whistle was an early version of the same idea. Steam was the message. The difference is that the old stovetop kettle sent the message to a human, while the electric kettle sends the message to a switch. The first electric kettles arrived in the late 1800s, but they were not yet the fast, convenient machines we know today. One well-known early model from 1891 heated water with the element in a separate compartment, not directly in the water, which made it slow and inefficient. That meant early electric kettles solved one problem, but not all of them. They used electricity, but they were not yet as practical, fast, or safe as later versions. Even early 20th century electric kettles still looked and felt like special appliances rather than the everyday, nearly automatic tool we take for granted now. The idea was there, but the engineering still had room to grow. A major improvement came when designers moved the heating system into a form that transferred heat much more directly to the water. The National Maglab notes that by the 1920s, the element was being sealed in a metallic cylinder and placed directly in the water, which made boiling much faster. But the really big change for daily life came in 1955, when Russell Hobbs introduced the K1, described by the company as the world's first automatic electric kettle. That is the moment the kettle stopped being just an electric heater for water and became a true convenience appliance. You no longer had to stand over it waiting. The kettle could boil the water and then stop itself. That one change turned a useful appliance into a trusted everyday one. Modern kettles still build on that same basic idea. The shapes are cleaner, the bases are often cordless, the heating elements are better hidden, and many models add things like keep warm settings, variable temperature controls, and better filters. But the core logic in many standard auto shut-off kettles is still beautifully simple. Water boils. Steam moves through a channel. A bimetal sensing part heats up. The switch snaps. The circuit opens. Power stops. And if something goes wrong, boil-dry protection is there as a backup. Even now, that combination of simple physics and practical safety is what makes the kettle feel so dependable. That is why the click feels almost magical even though the science behind it is actually very down-to-earth. Your kettle is not performing some advanced digital calculation every time you make tea or coffee. In many cases, it is doing something much smarter in a simpler way. It waits for steam, uses that steam to trigger a snap action bimetal control, and cuts the power in a split second. The whole thing is fast, cheap, durable, and reliable, which is exactly why this design has lasted for decades. Once you know that, the sound of a kettle clicking off stops feeling ordinary. It starts sounding like one of the neatest little engineering tricks in everyday life. So the next time you hear that click, you can think of it as the moment the kettle gets its final signal. Not from a human. Not from guesswork. And not usually from directly measuring the water in the simple way people imagine. It is steam saying, "We are boiling now." The switch hears that message, the circuit opens, and the job is done. If you want more simple explanations of ordinary things we use every day, subscribe and stick around for the next one. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe. Then tap the bell icon to turn on all notifications so you never miss any of our future videos.